Hello guys, welcome to another video by ArmaShock, and we are actually gonna do today some boot camp, and as you see by the title, this is gonna be the intro to Arma. So I'm actually gonna do my best because this is live commentary, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard to talk about the awesome game while doing live commentary and showing you about the game itself, because there's a lot of topics to go through today. So let's get started. So first of all, I have disabled all the mods that you saw in the first video. If you didn't see it, go ahead and go into my channel so you can see it. It's not important that you see it right now, but it is important that you see the entirety of this video if you are an Arma beginner and you don't know much about the game. So let's give you a little background before we start. So basically, Arma 2 is... Hang on, I'm sorry, I just gotta lower the volume quickly here. Alright, so Arma 2
cannot fire.
There, that's nice. Arma 2 is basically a really realistic shooter kind of game, a tactical shooter. So it's basically non-linear. It's not like the Call of Duty's, Battlefield, all those. It's non-linear. You can basically do anything you want whenever you want. So that's mainly what Arma is. It's the main thing about Arma, the main thing that they've achieved with Arma is the freedom. You're free to do anything from like mission editing, a lot of user-made content. In the actual game, you're free to go anywhere. You can just put yourself in the mission editor, put a character in, and just start walking around, start killing animals. It's just probably the most free game. Free game, that sounds weird. The game with the most freedom that I've ever played. So yeah, it's just amazing. And it's not like those shooters that you can just run up to the enemy and start shooting them and then duck and then up again and start shooting and then you'll survive. Here you actually have to use your brain. If you don't use your brain, you'll die. It's simple as that. No second chances. That's the main part of this game. You don't get second chances. You make a mistake, you're dead. So let's actually get some more details into what we're doing right now. So I'm right now at the boot camp, which is one of the stock scenarios that you get with when you get Arma 2. And I'm running actually Arma 2 Combined Operations. What Arma 2 Combined Operations is basically just Arma 2, which is the basic game, which has the actual engine.
Okay.
And then
kind
of an expansion pack. But this expansion pack can be ran without Arma 2. It's basically this kind of expansion, but a second game kind of thing. It's weird. But when you buy Arma, you definitely want to buy the Combined Operations pack. I really don't recommend buying only Arma 2 or only Operation Airhead, because you cannot. A lot of things like the DayZ mod and a lot of the more popular user content and stuff is reliable on the you're gonna have to get Arma 2 and Arma 2 Combined Operations. Arma 2 and Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead for it. So that's what I'm running right now. And as you can see, the graphics aren't too bad for a game that's been out since 2006. I'm pretty sure. I'm a sir. But it's pretty good graphics for a game that came out at 2006. And this is not even the highest. You can run this on crazy graphics. Let me show you quickly. Here we go. You can 3D resolution of 2720 by 1536, which is crazy. It's crazy. But you need like a NASA computer to run this. I'm running this on a decent rig. But yeah. So let's actually take this gun over here. As they said, let's take it.
All right.
I don't want to go into the user interface quite yet. So he's telling me to fall in.
What now, baller?
Practice what you want today. When you're done here, you should drive to the heavy weapons range. Captain Shaft will have some stuff for you there. What are you gonna practice now?
Alright, we're gonna go for the obstacle course.
I'll run
Now.
around on the obstacle course.
Soon. Okay. Now, the controls are kind of hard to get used to at first. This is not an easy to pick up and play kind of game. You have to actually, it has a learning curve in it. So, it's also the learning curve makes it even like more fun.
Run the obstacle course as fast as you can and return here. Ready? Go!
Alright, so basically they're telling you to have this to run this obstacle course. Right now I'm just using the WASD keys. That's all I'm doing right now. And here I'm using Z to go prone. As you can see at the top right, it's giving you instructions how to do it. And I'm moving here. I'm holding Alt to basically look around without moving my character. And then C to stand up and run back to him.
That's great. You recon guys are in good shape.
Right. So it's kind of hard to get used to the controls. As you see, the crosshair is also pretty strange. It's these two kind of curved lines together. But you get used to it. So let me teach you some of the basic controls. WASD is to move around. X, crouch. Z, prone. C to get up from crouch or prone. The scroll wheel to basically have the interaction menu. I will tell you more about that later. You got, what else do we have?
Let's squeeze a few off on the range, Pat.
Alright, we'll do that then. So basically, enter on the numpad will make you go scroll from third person and first person. Now I usually play on third person only because in first person you only get a 90 degree field of view, and in real life you have a 180 degree of view field of view. So and when you're in third person you actually get this entire 180 degree field of view, so it's more realistic. You know, you feel more attached to the game this way. You feel more aware of your environment than just in first person. So yeah, so we're going off to the range and I'll teach you some of the basic key bindings for the gun.
Take some ammo first.
So to interact with crates, which you're gonna do a lot in this game, these are crates. They're basically just crates. Yeah, basically just a crate that has stuff. So I'm just putting my crosshairs on the crate, and I use my scroll wheel. Now, you see the gun icon with the weird arrow circle things? That basically means that this crate has ammo or weapons. When you go up to a crate and you see this icon, you know it has weapons and ammo. If you only see this kind of icon right there, it means there's no ammo or weapons, but there might be some other things in there. So that's actually, I don't want to talk about the user interface quite yet, but let's actually take the Stanag. Now,
Fire
you can
3
either...
rounds, and then after that you can continue with the rifle marksmanship test.
Alright. Well, you can either, when you're... I'm using the scroll wheel right now to move around, and you can either click on your scroll wheel, or you can just click the left mouse button, but I always prefer using the middle mouse button to click to the scroll wheel, because it's more safe It's much more safe, because when you're in enemy territory, and let's say you're on a covert operation, and you're trying to access this crate, and you accidentally get out of the interaction menu and press left button, you will shoot, and that lets everyone know that you're here. So I always prefer to use the middle mouse button. It's much more safe. So let me teach you some of the basic key bindings for your weapon. So when you right click once, it toggles your aim. You don't hold you don't hold the right mouse button, you just right click. And then you have this awesome, well, scope kind of thing. Now when you hold your right mouse button, it zooms in. It doesn't, you can do it when you're outside of the scope, you can zoom in, or when you're aiming down your sight. Now when you zoom in, it makes your aim more steady, but it's basically holding your breath, so you can't do it for too long, then your aim starts going all fucked up. So know that zooming in makes it more steady, but it's also for a limited amount of time. Now, so let's squeeze a few rounds off. So I'm gonna zoom in for a steady aim, and left click to just fire my weapon. Now, in Arma, it's gonna take you a little while to get used to the actual feel of how you move around and how you handle your weapon, because it's really out of the ordinary. It's not one of those really sharp movement kind of games where you just go whoosh, and you instantly are aiming straight at your target. It's gonna be pretty hard, and what I recommend if you do have the game is to go into your options and game options and turn off, oh sorry, not game options, controls, and turn off smoothing, because what it does, I think the default is actually half, and it makes your aim not too snappy. It makes it kind of wavy. When you aim, it kind of goes a little more than you actually when you stop your mouse. So you always want this snappy aim in shooter games. So I do recommend turn smoothing off completely, and it's more snappy and easier to get into. So let's squeeze a few more rounds off here. Now, as in any shooter game, or most shooter games, R is to reload. And at the top right, you can see your status. You can see my weapon is M16A4. It's on semi-auto, and 13 rounds. I have 13 rounds left. When I press F, it switches to firing modes. So as you see, burst, semi, burst, semi. Burst is basically 3 rounds. So I clicked once there. I didn't click 3 times, but I fired 3 rounds. And then semi is just 1 round. Now, I really, as you see, even in third person, I hold right click, it zooms in. First person, I hold right click, it zooms in, and I still have this nice crosshair. Now, a little more about the crosshair. As you can see, there is this little line in the crosshair. It actually tells you where the bullet is gonna land. That's more of an accurate feel of where it's gonna land. As you see, if I move up and down quickly, the line moves up, and that's actually where the bullet is gonna land. So let's try and get a hit while moving up and down. There. See, I didn't aim exactly on it, but the little line between was at the head, and when I fired, that's where the bullet went. Now in the mods I use currently, there is no crosshair, so I only use my aiming down the sight, or when I have to, I use just hip fire. But you don't do that a lot in Arma, because Arma is more of a not so CQB game, so it's more open field, so you're more likely to take ranged weapons in Arma. But yeah, So let's actually do the marksman test.
Okay, let's test you. Shoot as many targets as possible. If you want to quit, just drop your weapon or leave the station.
Alright, so let's do that. Now note, I'm not the best shooter in the world in Arma, but I am pretty good. So I'm just right-clicking, holding right-click, and then shooting. That's what I'm doing right now. Right-click, hold right-click, shoot. Right-click, hold right-click, shoot. Now don't get desperate, because it's gonna be hard to get into it. It's gonna take you a long time to get used to the game and the feel. So don't worry, just keep playing, and trust me, it will be worthwhile. So enough wasting time on the range, let's get out of here. Now by
Ooh. I recommend you spend some more time on the range before we get into some action, buddy.
Oh yeah, I really want to shoot you. I really want to shoot you. No, and of course.
Thanks, not now.
Alright, so what we're actually gonna do, let's teach you more about moving around. Now when you move around, there is two ways to move around. You basically, by default, you'll be kind of running, jogging kind of thing. When you double tap shift, you're gonna switch to walking. Now you can't aim down your sight while running, so you're gonna actually have to switch to walking when you aim down your sight. So this I use when I'm in dangerous areas. I walk slowly with my gun up, because if suddenly a guy comes up, I can quickly shoot him. But then if I'm running in a field, I'll be using this. Now there's also sprinting, which is double tapping W. It's not really much faster than normal sprint, normal jogging, but you use it sometimes. Mostly you use normal jogging because sprinting just makes you really tired, and then your aim goes all fucked up. Now as you can see, after I run, look at my my crosshair. You see it's really far apart. It's because I'm tired and I'm all shaky from running, so my aim is gonna be off, like in any really shooter game, I think. Most of the new ones. So now, using the scroll wheel, let's actually do the first aid.
I'd like to practice first aid drills.
Alright, so let's go for the first aid course.
Hello, Coops. Corporal Watkins here will play our wounded buddy today. First, go grab and carry the casualty back to my position before giving him first aid. I want to see your lift technique.
Alright, so here is our casualty. Now another thing about walking quickly while we do this, when I'm walking right here, if I want to walk just without my weapon up, I double tap control, and it takes my weapon down. It's nice for just patrolling and stuff like that, and walking around in base. So let's drag this guy, because that's what he wants us to do. All I did is look at him, use the scroll wheel, and clicked on drag. So when dragging, you can only go backwards, you cannot go forward. So I'm actually going backwards right here. And as I said at the start of the video, I'm holding Alt and moving my mouse to look around without actually changing the direction that I'm moving in. It's nice for looking when you're looking around when you're walking backwards and stuff like that.
Give him the first aid.
So now let's stop dragging him and give him first aid. Now this is not how first aid is gonna work in most of the mods. It's gonna be much more complicated, but this is how it works in vanilla Arma. All you do is just press it.
That was some nice acting there, Joe. Thanks.
Alright, so now the only thing we have left is driving, so let's do that.
I'll drive up and meet Captain Shafto.
So they're telling us to get in a vehicle. Now, anything that you have to interact with, you would use your scroll wheel. All you do is come up to whatever you want to interact with, and you use your scroll wheel, and you have a bunch of options. Like the crate, like the guy that we wanted to heal, like the weapons. So here, as you see, coming up to the thing, get in Humvee, right in back, And mission ended, I think. Oh no. So, as you see, ride and back means basically not driver. You're just seating, you're just coming along. So you can actually switch to the driver's seat while inside the car. So let's go to the driver's seat. Now this is the driver's interface. Driver's interface basically will tell you your speed. As you see, SPD, that's your speed. There's horn is basically every time you see at the top something at the top right, it means that's what's gonna happen when you press left click. So when we had the weapon out, it said M16, meaning we will fire M16 when we press left click. Here it's a horn, so we're gonna honk the horn whenever we press left click, as you see. Now at the left we have the fuel meter, and we have these 4 green boxes. Each one has a name: hull, engine, fuel, and wheels. That's the short for all of them. And basically it's the parts of the car, and the greener it is, the better the parts are. So basically the more the red those boxes become. So if the hull was to be red, that means it's damaged. And it will slowly go from green to yellow to red. So if I start crashing my car around, you'll see my wheels or my hull starting to go red. Now, let me turn off the engine. Okay. So basically what you do is just use WASD keys to drive. You hold W and you would start driving. Now vehicles, let me turn down the volume just a bit more.
Cannot fire.
Now vehicles are usually, depends on what kind of vehicle, they're better on roads. So if they're